right, guys, we're back again with another great episode of PFREI. This is the first episode, or maybe the second episode, where we had a guest come on for the second time. Mitch Stephen is one of our great guests. Is 1000houses.com. You can go there and find a bunch of information about Mitch. So Mitch has been in the business for 25 plus years, right, Mitch? You started real estate investing at the age of 23. So now we know his age.
Well, no. I started real estate investing at the age of 23, but I really didn't find my butt with both hands and get really involved in doing it for a living full time till I was 34. So I bought a couple places for myself, but then I went this dry spell. And then at about age 34, I woke up, and now you know my age. I'm about 60. I'm 60.
So you purchased over 2,000 houses in your hometown of San Antonio, Texas. You're a San Antonio, Texas graduate who never stopped learning. Books, CDs, seminars, webinars. Those were your classrooms, right? Now, today you specialize in owner financing. You kind of touched on that a bit in our first interview. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to come back on and kind of share with our guests, how you sold, 200 houses since the last time we spoke? Or was it?
No, the last 200 houses, I'm averaging 4 days on the market. I'm offering my houses for sale with seller financing, which is a great advantage to begin with, but 4 days on the market with no signs. So I don't have any signs anymore. I had to use signs to get there, but now I don't need signs anymore.
And why is that?
Well, so my biggest problem was how I was marketing my houses to begin with was I'd have on any given day, I'd have about 15 houses for sale. And so we would put 20 bandit signs around the neighborhood, around each house, and then one in the front yard. So that was over 300 signs. And my salespeople were getting 100 to 150 to 200 calls on a weekend. And by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on Saturday, they were fried. And, they weren't even answering the phone anymore. It's just relentless. And a lot of those calls were people kicking tires or
city inspectors.
Well, it wasn't a problem then, but it is a problem now. City inspectors and sign police, not so much the sign police, but the city inspectors are following up on signs and trying to bust you for not pulling a permit and stuff. So it got really bad.
Your guys are overwhelmed and you got
So I invented a software called LiveComm, LiveComm.com, as in live communication. And what LiveComm does is it sells phone numbers for like $2 a piece, and they're smart phone numbers, meaning every phone number has a text distribution attached to it. And when someone calls my LiveComm number from a cell phone, it captures their cell phone number and puts it in a text distribution list underneath that number, that phone number. And in LiveComm, you can name your phone numbers whatever you want. So I went out and I bought 15 phone numbers, and I put a phone number on every house. And then within LiveComm, you can forward that phone number to a recording. And then I have a property information sheet, which is about as long as your arm, talking about everything from school district to taxes to year built to size of the lot, whatever, and my owner finance proposition, my terms that I'm offering to sell under, and what I need from you to qualify. And so they were not only getting information, but they were getting kind of trained on what to expect if they want to buy my houses. And so they call the number, and my salesman didn't have to answer anymore. It would deliver all the information perfectly. If you got it right one time on the recording, it was right every time. It would answer at 6 in the morning on Sunday, or it would answer at 12 o'clock at night, on a Wednesday. It wouldn't matter. The people could get the information. Then what I did was I wouldn't even give the callers a contact number, because I already had their number now, because it was in the text distribution list. And I would just say at the end of the recording, if you think this is the house for you and your family, then this is what you do. You get you and your family in the car, you drive to 123 Main Street, you get out, You look at the front yard, you look at the backyard, you
see if it's something they like.
Yeah, look through the windows, check out the neighborhood, and if you still think this is the house for you, and you definitely have X amount for a down payment or more, then call the red phone number in the back window. So all of a sudden, my calls would go from hundreds to 8 or 9 calls, and they were highly qualified. They were vetted. They could follow instructions. They wanted a house bad enough to go do what they were asked to do. And now my 2 salespeople were fighting over these 8 people, you know, and I still had the phone numbers. So every time I had a new house come for sale, I could always text these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, because, you know, I was getting 200 calls a weekend. I was getting thousands of calls through the month on all of these houses, you know what I mean, combined. And they were all getting captured. So I could text them from my phone in about 30 seconds and tell them, I have a new owner financed home for sale. Click the link here, you know, or go to my Facebook page and see my inventory. And I could direct them over there. Tell them, be sure you follow my Facebook page so that you'll get notified when I post new properties for sale. So I'm taking these thousands of people, and for 2 cents a piece, I can stay in touch with them. 2 cents a text, you know, 2 cents for each recipient. And it's a direct hit bullseye right between the eyes. These people are in my market. They've already called my signs. They're already interested in my product. And now for 2 cents, I can talk to them, you know, short sentences, but you know. And if you go into Instant Call Connect, every phone number has a hello button. And if you click that hello button for that number, then when they hang up, they're going to get a text from you in about 60 seconds of whatever you wanted that hello message to say in that hello text. And mine would say, make sure you go to my Facebook page to learn how to buy my houses and to learn about my inventory, what I have available. And so I was driving all these phone numbers over to my Facebook business page, which is a free page. And I now today have 10,000 people in my phone numbers, and about 7,000 following me on Facebook. And like every 6 months or so, I'll send out a text saying, if you're no longer interested in an owner financed home, please reply to this text right now with the word stop and get off this list. And I still have 10,000 people. Now you got to put it into perspective. I live in San Antonio, Texas. My town is 2.5 million, give or take a few. And so now I don't even have to use signs, because what I found out is once I had about 3,000 people following me over on my Facebook page, I didn't ever have to put a sign out. I would sell my house in about 4 days. Now I have 7,000 people following me. And, you know, if I want to send out a text about a house, I will only send it out to about 3,000 people, because I'm going to sell my house within that 3,000. And if I don't, I pick another 3,000 and send them. But I always sell it in the first 3,000. I always find multiple buyers. I get to choose which buyers I want. It drove my down payments up because I was getting multiple people coming. For example, if my salesman is going to go show that house at 6 o'clock this evening, he could send out a text to 10,000 people at like 2 o'clock and say, I'm going to be over at 123 Main Street at 6 o'clock. If you want to come see the house, I'll be there. Well, he shows up to show one person the house, and there'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in the front yard.
That was a bit.
Now we creating a little competition. You know, people will ask, well, how am I going to get to buy this house if so many people want it? And I said, well, I don't know, but I suppose you could impress the owner by bringing more than 10% down, or bring as much as you can, and get his attention. And so then my down payments went up from 10% to just under 15%, because people were competing. And so it's a really cool system because it's so inexpensive. It's $30 a month for the subscription. You get one phone number with that. If you want more phone numbers, it's $2 a month for a phone number. It's 2 cents for every text recipient, and 2 cents a minute for every minute that a recording runs. You can click on the auto record button for any phone number, and it'll record the conversation between my salesperson and the prospect, so I can listen in on their calls to see how they're handling these people. I can coach them. I also think it's very important that, you know, when you start to systematize your business and try to pull you as the owner out of the business, you have to assign every one of your salespeople and all your acquisition people a LiveComm phone number that is forwarded to their personal cell phone number, so that when they're out there putting out flyers and they have to use the LiveComm number, it is very egregious if they use their own phone number on anything. Because when they quit, I just want to unforward my phone number from them, and I want to forward it to the new salesman, because I don't want all that goodwill that we did leaving when they leave. You know, so that's another very important. If you've got a key person or key people that are racking up leads or spreading the word about your business, you can't let that number walk away from your office when they're done, or when they're fired, or when they quit, or when they're on vacation. When they're on vacation, we just forward the calls to the other salesperson. You know, we don't lose all of that.
Makes sense.
That's very important. And there's also an instant call connect button, because we were concerned, like sometimes if a house was moving slow, we want to talk to these people so we can figure out why. So there's an instant call connect button for every phone number. And if you turn it on at the end of the recording, it'll say, if you want to connect with a real live person, do not hang up, and you'll be connected immediately. And it also sends a text to the salesperson that says, someone from this phone number right here is calling about the recording. And then it's whatever you named that phone number, 123 Main Street, 56 Jones Street. I mean, you know what they're calling about. It could be you're trying to build a wholesalers list. You're offering a $100,000 house for $40,000 cash. People are calling that sign because you assume they're calling because they either have 40,000 or they know how to get their hands on 40,000, right? That's what you assume. All they hear is a recording saying that property has already been sold, but you will be text messaged next time I have an opportunity, a wholesale opportunity. If you ever want off this list, just reply with the word stop and get off the list. And so you could build all kinds of lists with this. Just pick a phone number, name it for whatever it is that you want to use it for, and then start collecting phone numbers. You just have to go out and put out a bunch of bandit signs for that, or advertise it anywhere you want. I mean, if you run a classified ad, or you run a ad in a magazine, or you bought a billboard, you could assign a LiveComm number to that billboard, forward it to wherever you want it to be, and you can see how many calls would be coming from that billboard. Yeah, you know, because you're going to see the phone numbers start racking up in that text distribution list, and you can see if that method is effective or not. We always run A/B ads. You know, we're A/B testing all the time. We'll put one LiveComm phone number for one ad advertising something, and then we'll make another ad advertising the same thing but in a different way to see which one's drawing the most. And we can tell which one's drawing the most because we can see the phone numbers racking up in the text distribution list.
Yeah, this is great information.
So now that I've done the work and I've put out my signs for a couple of years, and it wouldn't have to take a couple of years, you could, and I have, and I did, at the end, go out and put out like 600 bandit signs all around my city over a 4-month period saying free list of owner financed homes, recorded message, and then the phone number. Well, all kinds of people will call a recorded message because it's not confrontational in their mind. Little do they know that it could be confrontational because I just got your phone number. You know, I could confront you anytime I want. I could confront you almost the minute you hang up, because if I have that instant call connect button on, I'll know that you're calling, listening to my certain recording, and I'll give it a few minutes for the recording to run through. And then I can call them and say, hey, this is Mitch. You just called my sign about so-and-so. Anything I can help you with? Sometimes when we have a slow moving house, we'll turn the instant call connect button and we'll start calling people back that are listening to our recording, only to find out that the neighbor's coming over and telling everybody that there was a suicide committed in the house and running everyone off. Mm. That clues me in what the problem is. Now I go over to that guy. I don't mention that I know that he's doing that. I just say, you know, you're a neighbor. You're right here next to me. You seem like a great guy. I really appreciate you watching over my house. And when it sells, I'm going to give you $500.
Yeah.
Keeps going over there and telling people.
I stopped immediately. He's like, he's the best guy in town. They're trying to,
Yeah,
I
this
like
house
the
is
psychology.
great.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to say anything. So LiveComm, if you go to LiveComm, LiveComm.com, you can watch some videos I have there on the homepage, but you can also go to YouTube and just go to LiveComm, LiveComm, and I go through every feature. Not only do I show you how to locate it and how to, you know, like say you want to name your phone number. This is how you name your phone number. You click here, you click here, you click here, you go here. And then I explain the strategy behind naming it, what you would name it, why you would name it, and then I'll go through the next feature, Instant Call Connect. Why would you use Instant Call Connect? Well, you use it in these. So I not only explain how to get to the feature and how to connect the feature, but why and how I'm using that feature to proliferate.
Can we own a financial subscription, Mitch? Thanks.
I'm
just kidding.
It's such a small amount because you think about it, at 2 cents per minute or whatever, it's chump change. I mean, if you spend,
for sure, 100%.
If you spend $100 and 2 cents, that's a hell of a lot of minutes and a hell of a lot of text. And you sell a house and you make 20 grand. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
I know people that are trying to do Facebook marketing and retargeting, and that's far more expensive. This is nothing. It's almost laughable.
Yeah.
So in all clarity, I want to let people know that I'm a 50% owner in it. And here's another little trade trick. I went to get it done. The people said, this is a really great idea. It wasn't new. I mean, smartphone numbers are not new, but how I was using them and some of the features that I connected, we even have text merge. If you fill out, if you set up and fill out the information in our spreadsheet, the phone numbers are already in our spreadsheet. You put the first name, the last name, the property address, and the LiveComm number. You can send out a text to 1,000 people in less than 60 seconds. It will use their name as a variable. Hi, John. Are you still interested in selling the house at 123 Main Street as a variable? So I send out 1,000 text messages to people I'm tracking trying to buy their house, and every one of them gets a text using their first name and using the property that they are associated with. So they seem very personal.
Yeah,
these are tremendous. One of my tactics is when even someone doesn't want to sell me their house, two things I do. One is I'll send out a hard contract in the mail to the top prospects, the houses I feel the best about. And then I'll put those top people in that spreadsheet and I'll send them a message once a month going, hey, John, this is Mitch, still ready to buy 123 Main Street whenever it's time. And maybe 20, 30, 50, 100 of those people get that text every month. You can also pre-schedule them to go out. So I can say, I want it to go out in 30 days. I want to go out in 60 days. I want it to go out in 90 days. I want to go 120 days. I can follow. They will get that text from me religiously until I say I'm not going to do it anymore. And that costs awesome. 2 cents.
Yeah, this is awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the fees and the structure. So I love.
Hold on 1 second. Let me finish.
You got more? You got more? All right.
Well, what you do is you tie the two events together. I sent them a contract in the mail. Maybe the first scheduled message is, hey, it's only like 7 days after I mail it. It's like, hey, this is Mitch. Did you receive my contract on 123 Main Street in the last few days? Now this automated kind of thing really looks like it's personal. I could send out 50 contracts to the top 50 prospects and have 50 text messages go out to them and using their name and the property and asking them if they got my contract. That's how you make a text seem personal.
Yeah. 100%.
Tie it to a real live event that just previously happened.
And using their name. I love it, man. Let's talk about setup fee services. I mean, I know you said it's 2 cents, but is there a monthly fee? Is there onboarding price?
It's $30 a month, month to month. You get one phone number with that. You can buy as many phone numbers as you want and add it to your bill. You can search the numbers by area code, so you can pick up numbers in local or whatever you want. They're not pretty numbers, although sometimes you find a pretty number. But you can find the area code that you want typically. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time. And, you know, that's it. Really, it's $25 setup fee. It's really a no-brainer. I mean, it's
I
one of the
love it,
best
man.
assets I ever included.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this to the show with the listeners. Hey guys, if you hearing this, you know, when you do get the chance to watch this podcast, make sure you go through, check it out. And if you are a real estate investor looking for off-market leads, this is one of the tools that you definitely need to have in your toolbox. I know I'm definitely going to go check out everything on the site and bring this to my team to see how we can onboard this product, because it adds more personal. Usually when guys are looking for leads, guys or girls, they're doing blast text messages and seeing what comes in on the inbound side and everything else. This sounds really like a good product to use. So a good tool for the services.
You know, so one of the things that I like to do, bandit signs have been effective, and then they've gone kind of down for a couple of years, and then we start trying it again, and all of a sudden it's working again. You know, when we're trying to buy houses, we buy houses, and a phone number, right? Well, here's a chance to we buy houses, free recorded message. Now these people are going to call thinking they're not going to be confronted with anybody. I have the instant call connect button turned on for the phone number named We Buy Houses. And so anytime someone calls to listen to my recording, no matter, it's not important what I say on the recording. It's important that they called it and that I got the phone number, and it got texted to me right when they were listening. It says someone from this number is listening to a recording of We Buy Houses. And so on those, I definitely always have the instant call connect button turned on, because I am calling them immediately. Yeah. That is a high priority call. And someone is monitoring that and calling the minute they have a chance to finish the recording. We're calling them. Hey, you just called. Do you have a house for, you know, on our cash We Buy Houses sign? You have a house for sale? My name's Mitch. I'd love to talk to you about it. You know, and it's a super tool, especially if you're on a low budget, you're starting out with no money, you're a wholesaler or something. This is a fabulous, inexpensive way to drive some leads and be talking to callers like within seconds of them connecting with your sign.
Awesome. There you have it, guys. Mitch Stephen, live.com.
It's LiveComm, LiveComm as in communication, LiveComm, COMM.com.
LiveComm.com. You guys heard it here. I don't know if I was going to say first. I don't know if you heard it here first, but thanks a lot, Mitch. I really appreciate you coming on the show, as always, adding value. This is more than I expected. This is definitely a great tool. That's, you know, this content is evergreen. So if you guys hear this a year from now, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to utilize the services, and it'll probably be enhanced more than what it is, because Mitch has a bunch of different ideas to keep adding value to the service. So definitely.
And remember, LiveComm's not just for real estate. LiveComm could be used for anything, all kinds of businesses. I mean, what business wouldn't want to know who called them this week? You know, you could put out an ad for, if you sell pools, you know, 5 things you need to consider when buying a pool, free recorded message. You know what I mean? Or when building a pool, or when contemplating installing a pool. You know, people call it, here are the 5 things that they need to know before they consider buying a pool for their house. And all of a sudden, your salesman got leads today.
I'm already thinking a squeeze page saying, learn how to earn 10% of your money. Call this number now. They call the number, boom.
Yeah, to raise private money. And since you said that, I just finished a book called The Art of Private Lending. I just put it out. I wrote it to teach people how to, you know, move their IRA money into self-directed money. I tell them where to go. You know, taxfreefuture.com is a fantastic place, because not only do you get the retirement plan, but you get the first thing the retirement plan buys is an LLC. So it buys a company, and the company has a checkbook and a bank account. So you now have a self-directed retirement plan that has checkbook control. Like if you want to buy something that's a deal, you don't have to deal with the trustee or anything. If you know it's within the parameters of your retirement plan, you can buy it that minute. You don't have to wait for anybody. You know, stroke the check if you want. There's a lot of things about taxfreefuture.com that you might want to know, but if you want to know more about taxfreefuture.com, just go there. Make sure you fill out the little micro form. They're not going to beat you up with a bunch of endless crap, but you will get access. If you give them your name and your email address and phone number, you will get access to 32 little video vignettes showing you how you can boom your self-directed IRA. And I'm a big fan of IRAs and 401ks and self-directed and tax deferred and tax-free plans. And you won't believe what you can do there. And you take this stuff, and you combine it with the technology of LiveComm. And my book, I have 200 copies out now. I just got a call today, and when I get off this call, I have to call a man who called me from Dallas. I'm in San Antonio, said, I read your book. I'd like to invest some money with you. In the book, I'm teaching people how I've been successful as a hard money lender, loaning to private investors, and how I've done it without losing any money or getting myself in trouble, because there's certain parameters that I work within. And if I stay within these parameters, I'm pretty well protected. You know, there's always a risk. You got to get that. There's always a risk, but you've mitigated your risk. And so I'm showing them how to make 12, 14, 16, 18% on their money in Texas if they want to. However, about halfway through the book, I say, but if you're retired playing golf, it's going to, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and go to work if you want to make 15, 16, 18%, because you're going to have to start and do the business yourself. If you just want to be a passive guy and get a check in the mail on the first of every month while you're playing golf, then call me, because I'm going to use these same guidelines, but I'm just going to borrow the money from you, and we're going to plug it into those same guidelines, and I can pay you 8 or 9 or 10%, but you won't have to do any work. It'll be passive. And I got my first phone call within 2 weeks of putting my book out.
That's awesome, man.
From a complete stranger.
Yeah. All right, guys, another great episode of PFREI, Passion for Real Estate Investments. I'm your host, Fuquan Bilal. Today we have Mitch Stephen on again, second time adding value. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks for everything you do. You guys can catch us on all of the social media channels and all the podcast channels. And thanks again for taking the time out to listen to this interview.
All right, all you listeners out there, keep beating up Fuquan, because I can talk to you about segments like this on different topics for a long time. So just keep beating him up. Tell him you want Mitch back. Okay.
Awesome.
And I'll come back.
Awesome.